Hello there. Hi, how are you? It's Sunday night. I'm Scott. It's March, third day of the third month. There's so many things I should be working on. I should be working on my taxes. I should be working on this next round of proposal for the children's proposal. This next proposal round for the Children's Museum. I should be working on my workshop that's in a week. So instead, let's work on Heat. Kind of. I mean, this is kind of related to the workshop. Sort of, kind of. I just want to simplify things a little bit. I've been thinking about it. I don't know. We're going to try this in like 2 hours. We're going to see what we can do in 2 hours and kind of go from there. First, we obviously need better wallpaper. This wallpaper is okay. I had it on in the background while I was playing Metro. I finished Metro and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. There's something really special about the first games. They were kind of broken and janky and weird, but there's something really special about them. And this game maintains a lot of the janky weirdness and doesn't really advance the formula at all, but it loses. It's like it's missing some heart or something. I don't exactly know. Anyway, not my favorite. So what do we need to figure out? We need to figure out how to make this work. Yeah, we need to figure out how to make this work. So we've got a version that's of Heat out on the store. We should learn how to do this anyway. What we want to do is not break the version that is deployed to the world, and instead WebSocket support. Leave that one, don't break it, and just set ourselves up to be able to continue developing. And then maybe we do these other things, whatever. I don't know. Who knows? So let me think about how we have to do this. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to create a new version. Maybe, perhaps. Let's turn on, where's the bevy? You know the bevy going. Twitch developer reporter, sure. Wait, didn't I just say to go to the dashboard? Okay, I have one extension. So what I think I want to do, actually, so this is funny. What are we going to call, what's the next version going to be? Just 0.1. I think this next version is going to be 0.1.0. That'll be a big deal because it's going to have new features. 0.2.0. I don't know how to version things. Semantic versioning. When am I ever going to get around to actually major incompatible API changes? Well, I mean, you know, adding WebSocket support maybe does that. Add functionality and backwards compatible bug fixes. Yeah, so these are beyond bug fixes, but not API breaking at this point. So let's just stick in this realm. So what I think we will need to do is create a new version. I hate you. Responsive web, you're the worst. Okay, so we want to create a new version. And this will be what? 0.1.0? Should my first version have been version 0.0.0? What's the proper semantic versioning? Okay, so yeah, local test, all this fun stuff. So this is the realm we want to be in. I don't really understand. Does it just copy everything? I hope so. Whoa. You have previously released an extension. These options can no longer be changed. You can't decide to monetize after the fact? What? And the identity link is checked. What? Okay, wait a second. Is the identity link does not appear to be currently turned on. Okay, well, hold the phone here. You're telling me that if you release an extension and then you want to release an update, you can not choose to monetize it ever? That sounds like a bunch of crap to me. That sounds horrible. I mean, I'm not ready to do that, but still. I don't know. I don't know about that. Not cool with that. Config URLs, panel URLs. Allowed to open. I mean, that's a little weird because we do HTTP requests. Maybe that's okay. Okay. Well, I've been thrown for a loop now. So I would like my extension to request an identity link. Why is that on when it wasn't on previously? I do want to do that. That's on the list of things to do here. Is this like past the username? I don't know. I don't know about this. This makes me mad. It's kind of seems just super not cool. Okay, we maintained. Here's another thing that's weird. Allowed to use this extension after release, and it did not respect that. So that's pretty weird. Like, I definitely had this in there and said these are people who can use it after release, but Binary C and Life is Yours used it, so I feel like just in general the entire Twitch backend extension world is kind of broken. Okay, well, those are upsetting things. I'm supposed to talk to Twitch on Tuesday about Heat, and maybe I will mention those things like, hey, that's not cool, because it isn't. Meanwhile, I believe we are set up to use the developer rig with so what I'm curious about then, so if I look in here, I do view details, that's version 0.0.1. I'm going to refresh my dashboard here and then get Heat and view details. No? Okay, I'm trying to figure out how I can in my browser be able to test the new version. But maybe it doesn't really matter because this is all going to be backend stuff, I think. Okay, so does that mean that if I host with rig, that I can feed the babby? Okay, so this is all we really need because we're not really making front-end changes at this moment. I mean, we could. What are our front-end changes? To expose the Twitch channel ID, have a mobile version. But that's not what I want to do today. What I want to do today is the following. I want to go in here. No, I want to go in here. And do this instead. And this will let me run my own local boy. Wait, what's wrong? What are we mad about? Oh, the Redis server, right. I need a local Redis server. Do I keep that? Why my file system seems so slow sometimes? Redis server. Okay, we got a beautiful Redis server. Now... Okay, great. And this is our direct connection to the Redis server where we do our cooldown management. So we're already like messing with that stuff. This file is more monolithic than I would prefer. But basically what I want to add to this is raw WebSocket support. Instead of, like, here is our socket.io setup, we're going to do raw WebSocket setup. And at least initially, I guess I will leave the socket.io stuff. But I just want to, this should not be that hard. We should be able to do some pub sub magic here. I think. And it should all be okay, I think. How do we actually talk to, like, connect an error, but our actual cooldown management is what? That is all up here. And so what we do is we set a key that's cooldown user. Yeah, okay, cool. So we need a couple things to happen. We need some kind of pub sub stuff going on with Redis. And we need to have some way to broadcast to all of our WebSocket friends. Oh no! I just realized something. We probably cannot easily simultaneously... Okay, I maybe just realized there's a horrible flaw in my plan. Here's the problem I think I just realized. Okay, here's the problem. I was thinking like, well, okay, what we'll do is we'll launch this, or we'll leave it as is out in launch world, and that'll all be fine, and we'll launch this new version and maintain backwards compatibility, and it will be no problem. But I just realized that I probably can't do that because I probably cannot simultaneously run socket.io and just raw WebSockets on the same server. Right? Like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So either I have to run the WebSocket stuff on another port, or have like Express set up with some different route or something. Like, that's a pretty weird one. Well, I guess let's just get started and then we'll come up with a solution for that. Man, that's a bummer. And just to explain, like, my reasoning for wanting to do this is there's just lots of cases in which socket.io is just annoying, particularly in the case of Unity, where it's still a slight hassle, but easier to connect directly with WebSockets. And I don't even really need socket.io. It was just a way to get the job done quickly. So what we want is... so there's a way to do like a route. Yeah, with a path. Okay, I kind of, at one point I already had WebSocket in this project. It appears I do not. Dracklin, how's it going? I just realized I was foolish. I was doing something foolish. But maybe we'll figure out a way around it. Or maybe we won't. Maybe it's impossible. Wonder if anybody's actually using Heat other than binary C and Life is Yours. The thing is, I just realized, so I had this plan like, oh, I'm just going to add WebSocket support and not even mess with the Socket.io stuff, but I just realized that that's probably mutually exclusive. I probably cannot easily, the way things are set up, support both of those simultaneously. But I'm going to try, or just, I don't know, I'm going to kind of like move forward with it and see what happens. So this is one way where there could be a discrete path. You're working on your game? Oops. What's the status? What's the status on this game? Okay, so theoretically, I should now be able to connect to the WebSocket server. Didn't I make a test client of some kind? I did, but it's just like, doesn't really do much, right? It just, all we do is, yeah, okay. So, cool. Abilities like having a bake sale and then everybody gets a cookie. Abilities like motivational speech where you motivate everyone around you by saying nice things about their outfits. Sound like good abilities. Okay, so if I just wanted the simplest little client, just like, what's the simplest client? Yeah, okay, so this would be, let's just cram this at the end of this test client. And this will be localhost 3000 connect to WS. Okay, that actually worked. I didn't think that would work, but it did. So why did that work? And that still works. And that seemingly did not break the WebSocket. This is weird. Okay, is this gonna break? Yes. So we can't do this because connecting there. Okay, well, So by having that discrete path, maybe that's all we needed. That's kind of a nice relief. So basically, Socket.io would be the default. But if you wanted to use raw WebSockets, you would just add /ws to the end. Kick, bash, backstab? None of that sounds friendly. Okay, so I can extend it and make it nicer. Oh, I forgot my button doesn't make things into. Alexa, turn on stream. Not me specifically. Any other person can, but me? Gosh, okay, well, that's fine. Okay, I feel like I just got saved a little bit here, where by default, we do Socket.io, and then we have WebSocket support. We don't need different ports or anything. I don't know if that's fully true, actually. Like if we push this to Amazon, would it really work? I don't know the answer. but this is just the start anyway. Because what we need to do is this. You know, remembering that we may have all these like totally fragmented nodes that can't talk to each other. Right now, our solution for that, for both managing cooldowns and Socket.io, is Redis is behind all of these and connects them all here. And then with pub sub stuff, we can like nicely go out into the world. And in fact, I didn't even pub sub the cooldowns, did I? Because my assumption was that you would be like, I think I have a sticky sessions on, session affinity, whatever it's called. So if you connect one place, you will ideally stay in one place, which that seems to be true so far with the cooldowns. I might be wrong about that. What's the Babby doing? Get the Babby over here. Okay, so that seems to be working. And WebSockets seem to be working. So here's what we're gonna have to do. We are gonna have to write our own pub sub stuff, which should not be too hard. And then I was thinking, like, my initial thought was like, oh, well, we'll have to maintain some kind of data store of channels of like, you're connected or you're not connected, and this is the channel you're listening to, or not the channel you're listening to, or whatever. But then I changed my mind, and I think what we will do is every WebSocket server already maintains its own internal list of clients. And so we'll just loop through them and say, hey, is this the channel you care about? And if so, broadcast it. That is not the most efficient way to do things, but I think we will have few enough people listening that it won't actually be that big of a deal. Because the inverse of that is that you'd need some kind of data structure that was like, okay, here's all the channels we're paying attention to. And then inside that, here's the people that care about individual channels, which would be more efficient, because then you would just look something up based on like a whatever hash map or something and say like, yeah, tell me who cares about this channel. And if there were going to be more users on the broadcaster side, I would maybe worry about that, but I'm not super worried about that. And it's something that could be optimized later potentially, but it seems like the easier way to get started is to just use the client object. And we can also steal ping pong support. Yeah. So here's a way to do that, is to like, you go through on heartbeat. Yeah. Anytime, basically you say every 30 seconds, in this example, every 30 seconds you say everybody's dead. And then, well, first you say, if anybody is dead, terminate them, like kill anybody who's dead, and then go through and mark everybody dead, and then you ping them, and then that will set them to not being dead here. So, yeah, and on Pong is a heartbeat. I don't really know why. It seems, I don't think you really need this. And what's the no op for? Just don't do anything. Yeah. So I kind of think we will just steal this. Kill all the dead people. It's smart. It's the way to go. It's good, robust strategy. How's it going, Binary C? So this all this nonsense here. So we don't need this because we have this above. I wonder if I can have multiple connections. Unclear. But, and then in here, instead of this, we'll just do, stick it inside here. And then because my this should be the right this, I think in that way. I think that's the proper this. And then we don't need this anymore. And then this will just be, I don't think we need to do anything when the ping is complete. So, okay, so we're saying anytime someone connects, say, you're alive. And then subsequently, anytime someone says pong, we say, you're alive. And then every 30 seconds in this example, yeah, I think this is the way, this is good. It's straight from the documentation, we just do it. Kind of, definitely not as deep or as robust as Socket.io, but just very basic WebSocket support for Heat to make things easier for Unity is the main driving focus, but also just to remove a dependency. And so we're gonna have to do the keep alive stuff, which this should suffice. The stuff that's a little more complicated is gonna be the pub sub, the Redis pub sub stuff. But if we have Redis pub sub and we have keep alive, I think we will have most of what we need to replace Socket.io. The only thing is that what's kind of nice about Socket.io is you get like specific events. So this is it'll be it'll be a different API. There won't be like a click event. There will be like, which, you know, that's kind of our only thing we send anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. It won't come through as a click type like this, basically. It will come through just as a message with type click, I guess. I don't know. There's going to be some disconnect between the WebSocket API and the Socket.io API. And probably longer term, I would want to just like kill the Socket.io API. I think. If we get WebSockets where we're happy with them. Okay, so we need like Redis pub sub. No, we want like node Redis pub sub. Heat, yeah, this is Heat. This is the Heat backend that I'm working on right now. It's just that the whole strategy for like the Earthscaper and for the game Life is Yours did, where you had to have this totally separate bridge. It's just clumsy, and I think I know how to. Excuse me for punching the microphone. I think with some minimal code we can get around Socket.io. It was a marriage of convenience. Yeah, okay. Simple pub sub. So what we need to do we already know about our Redis. So we'll make a new Redis client. And then I don't need it, but I don't want this. I don't need the fancy, just need the example. This is all I want, I think. So yeah, we will want to, man, this gets a little weird. I gotta like think about the exact structure we want here. What have we been calling our other stuff? Yeah, we want like so Redis. Didn't we do that somewhere already? With the socket IO adapter? Well, that's just socket IO Redis. So all of this stuff we should actually be checking to make sure we have Redis support. Otherwise it'll crash. But okay, so this shouldn't be too hard. So this is where we want to broadcast to everybody. Oh, I didn't even, we gotta check. Are we working? Can we do the thing? Alert didn't work. Why not? Let me close and open bot made this. Oh, overlay. Okay. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. That means that it can like die or time out or something. I'll have to do something to make sure that it's always trying to connect, which really means maybe add I think the TMI already knows how to reconnect, so we would just need some ping pong heartbeat kind of thing. You ever seen the movie Ping Pong? It is amazing. It's so good. What? Distracted? No, this is important. This movie is beautiful. It's an amazing Japanese film. We'll just watch the trailer and get inspired. Is this the right?
He looks down on us all. That's
whoa!
in so many matches.
An animation?
Our team's good enough to practice again. Lay off him.
That's not what I wanted. I wanted the live action one. Am I gonna get in trouble? And I'm gonna get like content flagged?
The hero has returned. Based on the manga by Taiyo Matsumoto, directed
so
by
good.
Sori.
I love it.
The legendary manga masterpiece by Taiyo Matsumoto became a visually striking live-action film by the creator of Appleseed.
I should read the manga.
Ping pong.
I love it. I love it. Okay, right. Yeah, distracted. It's true. I'm distracted. Okay, so we want to channel and message. The thing that I worry about using, we could theoretically use, I don't think we want to. I don't think we're gonna do that. I was about to say we could potentially set this up in such a way that the channel was the literal, yeah, the actual Twitch channel, but we don't want to do that. The channel is going to be whatever. And then we will just have to send our payload across. I think that's the case. I think we want to just have one pub sub channel, because what I don't want to do is have to, at least on this first pass, I don't want to have to like maintain who's listening to a channel or not. I think I can get away with that in a simpler way. Wait, on Pong, is that really something that's supported? A special message type? We're gonna also have to like in here yeah, it's gonna get a little confusing because we're gonna be like joining and subscribing in two different ways simultaneously. But the thing we want to do is send to the publisher. Yeah, this is where we'll broadcast. Oops. Message. Did that not, why didn't that restart? Broken. Excellent. What's the matter? Sure. I don't like that variable name. Oops. Wonder why I didn't get this. Create clients. Well, for now, let's do this. Let's do, that's where we would broadcast. But first we would have to, man, no, okay, this is confusing. So this is, whenever we get a, whenever we get a click up here, this is where we're gonna broadcast to Socket.io clients, and then this is going to be and for now let's just say that we're gonna publish message to that channel. Where are you, thing? Okay. That's here. Oh, that is still, okay, right. Gotta change this. Okay, so WS is the channel, and then this is what came through there. So that is working. I mean, the channel could be click. The channel could be something useful, but I don't know. I think we need to just put the event type in there. I don't really love that as a strategy, but I also don't really have any other events planned at this moment. So, like, I could just add it to the main payload, and it wouldn't actually hurt anything. It would just be like type is click. Why is this not restarting? Okay, we get type click. Ah, I see. I wasn't using the proper thing. Okay. So we are now broadcasting to our friend, sort of, or at least publishing. And now what we need to do is do something here where we have to iterate through everybody who's connected and look for anyone who is listening to the channel. Oh, I need to put the channel back in the payload because I took it out. But I need it now if I'm going to do it this way. I wonder how they do that. like how they do this particular piece with the Redis backend, what that actually looks like. Because I couldn't really do it very easily unless, I mean, really the easiest answer is to also put that here. Which feels like not great. Feels a little silly, but like to tell you the channel that you've already subscribed to, but maybe that's okay. Okay, so anyway, we'll make it better someday, right? Okay, so cool. So we will know the channel, not this channel, the Twitch channel, which will be like in the message, which we'll then have to parse here. This feels not very beautiful. Is message always is message a string at this point? Yeah, we've stringified it. So we would have to unstringify it. That feels kind of sucky. Does it really matter? Like, to subscribe to a channel, I wish you could just subscribe to like any channel. Let's see, maybe, can you? Is that possible? I mean, what I kind of want, though, is for subscribers to just listen to everything. Whoa, is a rave happening? A rave just happened. The baby got hungry and caused a rave. Publish second hello. I don't really understand this documentation. Okay, how about this? Supports pattern matching. Clients may subscribe. Okay, so I could subscribe to just everything. I think that's the way to do this. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? The baby can't eat this fast. Right now, clear is a manual command that I follow. I just come over here and I do this. That didn't work. Oh no. This one. Okay, cleared. We're clear. Drachlin, are you clicker rating? Where are all these? What's happening here? Where are these babbies coming from? Okay, so we can wildcard. That's fair. Even if it's like Flintstone style, like there's just some dinosaur that's doing whatever you're telling it. Okay, so I could do something where, what does p subscribe mean? Subscribes to the given patterns. I see. Can I just p subscribe star? Something like that? Does that just work? So I could say just give me whatever. That does not seem to work. Oh, I have to do a p message. Wait, what? Wait, this is not quite what I'm looking for here. On p subscribe on p message. Okay, so I have to do this now. Okay, yes. So now I get, oh, I get any message, including, that's interesting. Those must be the socket.io messages. Well, I don't want those. Interesting. So this must be how socket.io does it. They cram whatever they need to. So what we would do is like, so yeah, I must have called that something, right? Twitch Heat. That's my Redis key that I use for the socket.io server. So everything is prefixed with that. And then namespace, so it must be like key, namespace, and then channel name. And so I would just have to split those on the other side. So that works well. What's going on over here with this Betty is out of control. Okay, so that means that when I need to consolidate this some because I don't know where anything is anymore. Okay, so here, instead of just WS, do like Twitch Heat WS pound. I mean, I can do whatever I want, sort of, but I need some kind of prefix for it. So it could be like WS pound, and then send the channel ID here. And this could be a way to send alternate types of things, but so that means this doesn't really need to be in here. So now I can click that and I'll get this. And then I would need, in reality, I would then want to subscribe to like WS star then. And then I could just pull that off the front and then I would have the channel that I wanted. I guess the question is, Yeah, so if I did WS star here, it should work the same. Yeah, and now I don't get any of the other stuff. Okay, interesting, cool. I had wondered how they did it, and I think now I know how they did it. Who is drawing here? Who is feeding the babby so robustly? Some poor person in the future is going to try to watch this video and figure out, like, oh, how does this work? And then they'll get to this part of the stream. And are you censoring the code? Is that what's happening here? It's a code censoring effort? That's probably good, so I don't accidentally show anything that I shouldn't. Someone will find an exploit. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need some way to publish what we have currently upstairs is fine. Why don't I have a message here though? A P message must have more parameters. Second element is what matched third element. Okay, so first is the subscription, and then the third element is the originating channel. It's slightly confusing. What? What? This is a little weird. Let's P subscribe. Can you tell me about P message though, please? Is that not the thing that I called? It's like, what are the... No, just P message, please. Thank you. Pattern channel message. Okay. And then in this case, I need to like remove pattern from channel to get the Twitch channel. So it's going to be like what's the clever way to do this? Basically, I want channel without pattern at the front of it, right? No, that's not true. I really want like channel.substring 3. Something like that. Yeah, okay. So that gives me the Twitch channel. I don't know if that's the great. We can. There's definitely more robust ways we could come up with to split and manage that, but I think that's okay for the moment. So, then the thing that we want to do is that currently we just log this, but we want to actually send it to our buddy here, so that whenever there's a message, we want to log like, hey. And we got something from the WebSocket server, and then we don't get anything after that. Although it's a little weird. Why am I not getting my normal Socket.io stuff now? Did I break the Socket.io stuff? Because this was working moments ago. Oh, it's because this is probably connecting to real Heat, not fake Heat, right? Not you. What are you connected to? No, we did. We connected to this. We not connected to... Okay, Socket.io is connected to real Heat. We're talking to fake Heat here. What we could do... Okay, does that give us all the stuff? Yeah, okay. So... like... Okay, so that's going to go out that way whenever any data comes in. And then the subscriber is going to get it, and then it's going to say, cool, let me... just forward the message along, but now with the Twitch channel here. And what we need to do here is the following. We want this. We want to do same pattern everybody does for broadcast. This. We want this, but with a slight twist to it. So the way this works is it will just go through and do all the business, but we want a version of broadcast that also checks client.channel. Something like this. So like go through each client, make sure that client is open, and then we want to say something like if client.channel equals channel, and that doesn't mean anything yet, but we will make it mean something. Then send the message, right? So I don't really need a separate function for this. Okay, so we have all the pieces we need except for a way to say, hey, I want to know about a certain channel. So if we comment this out, well, that didn't work the way I was hoping. Oops. Sending this message, this guy should say, anytime I get a message, log the message. So that happens the first time, does not happen subsequently. It doesn't seem good. So we need to loop through each of the WebSocket clients. If the client is open, am I like immediately murdering the client? Is that my problem? Because I didn't do the ping pong on the client side? What's your problem? Okay, yeah. I think it maybe just died because we're not the client keep alive code. We don't have client keep alive code yet. Which that's one downside of this. Man, I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on it. The socket.io thing that's convenient is like all that stuff's just managed for you, and you have one dependency, but it's all just managed for you. Prune dead log the murder. Yes, we want to. I can log the murder. Yeah, I mean it's just because I haven't written it yet. Like in here, everybody after 30 seconds, any client is going to get pruned, and that's. I just need to add a simple. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just add the handler on the other side. This is the server side of it, and this is the client side of it, which should be we don't really need this. We really just need to say, actually, do we not have to manually send the pawn? This one commits suicide. But I'm a little confused here because I would have thought that we would have to manually do that. Maybe, do web browsers do that for us? They seem to not do that for us. What's my problem here? We ping everybody. And on the client side, when we get a ping, how are we not responding with Pong? Oh, Pong messages are automatically sent in response to ping messages as required by the spec. So I shouldn't have to do that. So in that case, we shouldn't be murdering anybody. What? Why the murder? Let's log the murder, you're right. I guess we could have logged. Did I not do an initial ping or something? That seems like a thing I might have done. Guess we could log when we ping also. What did I do wrong here? It's a long 30 seconds. Seems like maybe that's not the problem. What's your problem? Okay, well, whatever. So we need the other thing we need to manage is some kind of subscribe event. So like we want to say you're alive, but we also need to say WS on. Yeah, we got an alive message. Oops. I think this really just has data in there. Oh, this has data. Okay, so the thing is this, that whenever we need at least one command, which is, oh, I know why we're losing it. Because Socket.io is smart enough to reconnect, but the client isn't. It's because we're like killing and restarting this and losing our connection over and over again. That's our issue here. So this dude needs, like, that's another thing that sucks that we'll have to write, is we will need to write some logic to reconnect. Lame. I mean, these are all the reasons that I like Socket.io. These are all the reasons that I think Socket.io is pretty good, but that's okay. Okay, so the deal here is we'll click away and we'll get messages. However, if I do this, we won't, because that will be undefined, right? That's good, that's what we want. What we need is, inside this, we need like, I don't know what we're gonna call it. We called it, in Socket.io land, we called it a join. Right? Yeah, we said, no, we called it a channel. So if we get a message, like, of type is join channel equals, I don't know, like making up these payloads is feeling a little weird. These again, these are all the reasons that Socket.io is kind of handy. Okay, so we want to deserialize this data. And then we want to say something like if JSON data dot channel. I mean, I guess we just say, maybe that's where we start, is we just say, like, if we have a channel, then great. Then ws.channel equals channel. And then that should be set here. And now, do we get it? No, because we got to subscribe. So we need to go in here, and on connect, we want to send JSON stringify channel whatever this. So we had to do that kind of in Socket.io anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Uh-oh. Why are you so unhappy? Channel's not defined. Of course it's not. Because it's JSON.channel, JSON-data.channel, everybody knows that. Any fool knows that. Okay, do that, restart this. Okay, so that is the foundation. That's the foundation of this, of like a scalable WebSocket backend using Redis. the pieces that are missing now are maybe really just the I don't think we need any of this connection stuff. We do all the connection stuff we need down here. This is just all nonsense. Maybe I think the only thing we're missing now really is sort of all the convenience stuff of like, oh, you disconnected, you should reconnect, on and on and on, all that stuff. Which is, you know, a little bit annoying, but not the most annoying. And there's probably, I bet there's code we can cut and paste. Node, reconnect. Reconnecting websocket.js, but I don't want that. I want no dependencies. That's the whole point of what I'm doing here. So on close, we'll just say try to reconnect. Yeah. So if we have this stuff in our client, and all that kind of stuff we would put in a Heat library. So you would just use a Heat library going forward. Yeah, so this guy, uh-oh. Don't do that yet. Okay, so just so we know what we're doing, yeah, we now can know when the socket closes, and we can now attempt to reconnect to the socket, which reconnecting to a disconnected WebSocket is non-trivial and best delegated to a library. I know. The smallest, most actively maintained reconnecting WebSocket. Whatever. But I don't want to. You should consider a migration to Socket.io. This isn't even that long ago. These are like now. This is like from January. But I don't want to. That's my whole deal here, man. Woof, so much nonsense. If it's normal, it's good. If it's not normal, I mean, I will say about the reconnect thing, what demo made more sense with WebSocket instead of Socket? Unity. There's no good Socket.io implementation in the world of Unity, unfortunately. There's not even really a great WebSocket implementation. I wrote one now that you can use .NET 4.7, and it's not very good, but it works. But for the Unity, right now the Unity demos are ridiculous because I wrote this WebSocket, C# WebSocket implementation. I have zero desire to write a full C# Socket.io implementation, so I just have a little bridge script, and Unity connects to the bridge script, and then data is just routed across. It's annoying. It's a pain in the butt. So I will probably keep Socket.io. available. And then WebSocket will be just sort of like a weirdo feature for weirdos. But the Heat library itself, if I make like this is the official Heat library, it would probably use Socket.io. I mean WebSockets, just to avoid that additional dependency of Socket.io. However, if you have Socket.io, there's like Heat has no brains to it at all. It's like all Socket.io code except for one line. So I don't know. I don't quite know what the answer is. So this does seem to indicate, though, that when it's time to reconnect, that they're just creating an entirely new WebSocket instance. And then, which means all of these listeners would be wrong, and that's kind of annoying. But you know, I knew these things. These are the reasons. These are the reasons I like Socket.io. Even though you definitely have people now saying like, I shouldn't use Socket.io anymore. It was invented when WebSocket support wasn't super great. A flawless implementation. Well, never mind. Never mind. I found a flawless implementation now. Hold the phone. Great. Yes, this implementation is flawless in that it just calls itself immediately piping them to XY to a CSV. Yeah, but you still need like a local, you need a thing to do that, right? Like you need something locally that's doing that. So I just kind of wanted to get rid of the need for a secondary thing. So, because for example, if I was gonna, like Life is Yours, his game, if it was like, oh yeah, download this thing and I know, download this thing and just run it and it's great and it works instantly with Heat, versus now it's like, well, you got to set up this separate Socket.io thing, and I hope you have Node.js on your machine. Like yes, I mean, that's what I did, more or less. Like I had a way that I just had a bridge to it, but that doesn't seem like it just doesn't feel like the most robust thing to put out into the world if anybody wanted to build something more robust with this, or if I wanted to build something more robust with this. So, but I feel like I'm super close. I feel like it's really just this reconnect thing. So, which is not really a problem. This is kind of funny. This flawless implementation, I just really don't like the language look of starting something by calling the close listener. I feel like is a little just feels a little gross, but I get it. I don't like the way you stated as a flawless implementation. Yeah, man, I know. A weird thing to say. Yeah, I mean, this is essentially the thing, right? This is the thing. You have some function that you call once. Like, this is the whole deal, right? And then you want to connect in some amount of time. And then I like to do stuff where, you know, you try to connect and then every subsequent reconnect takes a little bit longer, just assuming that the server's down or whatever. But that might be a sufficient thing. Well, it isn't because I forgot to call it. So if I do this, cool. What did I forget to do? Oh, it's a const. Well, I don't really need to set it to null, right? I mean, I guess that would mean like if any other events wouldn't get called, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so what's your problem now? What? Oh. Okay, so now what do? Socket closes, and then in 5 seconds it should reconnect. Which seems too long to me, really, but hey. Did it not do so? I mean, maybe it did. I'm just not logging. Yeah, okay, it works. So... well, that wasn't so bad. What did we do? An hour and 20 minutes, and I gave myself 2 hours? So, this is basically Heat. Like, the WebSocket implementation of Heat is... you've got to open it, and then pass a channel as soon as it's open, and then you just listen to messages. And the big difference here is instead of having explicit event types, you have to look into the event yourself, but that's not a big deal. I'm sure I forgot something else. Scribe WS. I mean, we may as well do like this also, I guess, and just do a publish. And then just to streamline things slightly. That's all the socket.io stuff. So then we would just do that. What's the normal thing you're supposed to send back? I think it's just okay, right? Okay. Why didn't you reconnect, man? It did. Okay, so we got all this stuff. That previous stuff was from Socket.io. That stuff's from WebSockets. I mean, this was all the stuff to connect to Socket.io. What we do with the click data, which we would parse if type was click. It's not that much worse, really. So this is, yeah, like basically connect and subscribe. My terminology is weird because we have like several layers of subscriptions then at that point. LA, is the baby doing laps? It's about time. Baby probably needs to lose some weight. When a message happens is when we would say, when we would parse it and then say like, JSON.parse data, and then we do like if JSON data dot type equals click. Then we would do whatever we do on clicks, error, whatever. Assume we get an event in here, right? We go in here too. That tells us the status, because really, if the server's shutting down normally, you probably shouldn't continue trying to reconnect, but whatever. Okay, and I would prefer this to be 1 second for now. So And then all we need to do is say that when we get it, we want to do a click with JSON data X and Y. And then we should be able to just get rid of this. And do the lights still work? Yes. Okay, so that is now raw WebSocket support. Does all this make sense? Publish the Regis, broadcast all connected clients, prune dead connections every 30 seconds. Well, the WS path is because if I don't have it, it'll collide with Socket.io, because Socket.io is really just sitting on top of a WebSocket. And I didn't realize it until after I started. That if I try to do that, it will get very upset. Like if I even try to start things without the path. I won't be able to connect properly because Socket.io will spew stuff over it. Or something like that. I didn't dive into it too deeply, but that seemed to be my problem initially, was just a collision between Socket.io being sort of the default thing to listen to. Now I could have changed that. In fact, now that I think about it, that's a little weird. I guess I could have namespaced. Let's see. Namespaces can come through the URL, but I'm not. So I may actually also be setting that up for Socket.io without meaning to. That would not be on purpose, but normally a Socket.io connection with a slash does. Let's see. Socket.io connection. I might accidentally be connecting to Socket.io also. Maybe not. I might be safe with that path. If I didn't have it, I still didn't get the hey. Did I not do that right? I think these numbers are statuses coming from Socket.io. I would have thought when I got a connection here, I would have gotten a hey. But maybe I don't get a connection because it doesn't negotiate the connection. So maybe I'm never even going to get to this because the connection isn't negotiated. Still seems like that would explode though. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, that's because I had the path here too. That's where I was breaking it. So even aside from this, I mean, we could do this and then do this. But this was killing things even worse, it seemed. Wait. Why did that work? Oh, I took out the Socket.io code, didn't I? Here. Did I delete it or just uncomment? Okay. Wait, why does that seem to work? I thought I tried this very thing when I started the stream and it wasn't working, and that's why I added the additional path. Like, how does it know? How does it know that it's not? Oh, well, I'm getting, I think I'm getting stuff I don't want. You didn't split my channel name yet. The, oh, maybe through the... Well, but that's kind of later down the chain. Like, as far as where I split the... I thought I would initially was just having problems connecting at all. Now I'm kind of confused. Okay, let me verify that what I think is happening is happening. So this would be... Okay, and this will reconnect in 1 second. And I'm getting some things logging here. I think that's an error. I think this is an error. Or a close. That number? Actually, I think it's a close. It's a status. Let's see what happens when I try to connect. Now it's not happening. Okay. So that's fine. I thought that was these are just the statuses of the closing WebSocket, not a Socket.io thing. So those are okay. 10,006 I think is maybe a normal close. Okay, so still slightly confused. And then a WebSocket connection. Why is this working? Why can I have these simultaneously? It doesn't really make sense, does it? Unless there's just stuff inside that is smart, that is like... Yeah, but doesn't that seem weird? Like, doesn't that kind of seem like it shouldn't work? I can't quite imagine what the mechanism is. How does it work? How's this possible? Okay, let's verify real quick. Okay, if we don't have socket support, we still get clicks through the WebSocket server. And if we don't have WebSocket server, we still get clicks through there. What did I do different? Like, truly, I feel like one of the very first things, because I started the stream and then I was like, oh crap, I think it's not going to work because I hadn't considered that problem of a single endpoint. But maybe I'm okay. Because the process is there's some HTTP request and then you request an upgrade. You upgrade that to a WebSocket connection, and then there's some kind of negotiation that happens that turns that into a Socket.io connection. And I guess I would have thought either that one or the other would get mad. Like, yeah, maybe so. Maybe if you just connect with the WebSocket and then the client doesn't ask to be upgraded, like, oh boy. Under the hood. Okay, so the connection happens. On the client side, a new Engine.io client happens, and it is, okay, wait. This is just a get. Oh, @/socket.io? Is that already a thing? So maybe socket.io only cares about maybe it already is kind of like secretly namespaced inside. Interesting. You know what? I vaguely remember that with a certain Unity socket.io implementation I was using, that you had to have this, you had to put in this full thing, the client that didn't get created for you. The Engine.io trick. This trick didn't happen. Okay, and then the server responds with this. But this is still just straight up HTTP. And this is before you're even in the land of WebSockets. And only here does it say like, hey, you can be a WebSocket if you want to. And then the content is encoded, okay. And then an upgrade happens. Once all the buffers, an upgrade gets tested by sending a probe, which again, even now we're out of HTTP, which we were here. Now we're in WSS land, but we are still /socket.io. So that makes me kind of think that if I tried to do this, bad things would happen. Yeah. Because I got a 400. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it seems like internally socket.io is already has a path. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, WS I didn't mind so much just because I was kind of envisioning the WebSocket support as kind of like a secondary thing anyway. Where, you know, maybe socket.io is the main dude, and then if you want to do WebSockets, you would just connect to this alternate path. But I think that's fine. Oh, I was also thinking of it not just for Unity, but also if you needed to for some weird embedded thing. Like if I wanted to make this dude talk to Heat and let Heat somehow control some device. I was thinking that would be easier to do with WebSockets. So I feel good about the WebSockets. Okay, well thank you for questioning my methods there, because I think I like it better without the path. I think. But it's good to know that that's an option. Okay, so I think I have a functional thing here. Although I have a close here without, well, I should have gotten a reconnect. So I should actually have like a open. I mean, just so I can tell what's going on in my life, not because it's actually required. Opens. Okay, and now this guy, if I save, I should get a close and then an open a second later. Okay, cool. Okay. Look at that. With 20 minutes to spare, added WebSocket support. That was not as painful as I thought it was going to be. I was a little worried about the Redis stuff. I guess I can't really say it's good. Good as in like safe and reliable without going through all the nonsense of trying to deploy it, because I was definitely, the hardest part of the whole AWS deploy was to have my socket.io connection work over several layers of fakeness, because it like you connect to a load balancer, and then that was connecting to Nginx, and then that was connecting to the script itself, and I took Nginx out of the equation. Maybe I shouldn't have, but it was so hard. Pure client side. Well, this is all this stuff is the Heat EBS, the extension backend service. So I could just deploy this right now to AWS, and it hopefully wouldn't break anything without having to release a new version of Heat. So yeah, I can deploy that, and then client side, yeah. I mean, there's not even really, there's kind of a fake Heat.js, but not one that's like all official. Okay. So what do we want to do? I could hop into that Earthscape demo and verify that this works. Want to be able to stay in my... Look at the baby's out of control. The baby hates this code. The baby does not approve of some aspect of my programming ability. I don't love some of these things. Isn't there a new thing you're supposed to do instead of set interval? Like some new fancy node thing? What do people do now? Isn't there like some kind of new... I thought there was like a new thing that you used. Now I can't remember what it was. What was the new thing? Am I crazy? Is that not a thing? I thought there was some new deal about like running periodic things, and that there was a new way to do it that wasn't just regular old set interval. Or is it a new kind of set interval? Maybe it's still called set interval? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about apparently. Timeout and immediate. Those are the things I think. Can't really remember the reason that you're supposed to want to do that. Until the next event loop. I don't think that quite matters in this context. Let's see. Yeah, I think set immediate is faster than set timeout. There was some reason I cared about this for a recent project, and I cannot remember at all why I thought it was important. I don't know the answer. Okay, so let's have a short rave and look at the clock and decide the following, that let's just look at the Earth, the dude. Whatever it's called. Earthscaper? Alexa, turn on stream. Because I think this should be very easy to port to the new style. And we can just get rid of that intermediate thing. And then Life is Yours. Well, Life is Yours left me in the dust now. He's using Photon now. My button still works. Great. The Babby's is just flat on his back, huh? I need to update Unity apparently. Okay, so here's the deal. What do I have something called a ship? Can I make a ship? Oh, that was to orbit. The WebSocket bridge is where we do kind of our business. So if we just connected 3000, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be able to do HTTPS in there. And then I can't quite remember what we did. Excuse me. I just say, I guess when I get a message, I just pass it through. So I think that's actually fine. Maybe this will just work. Is that truly like an instant replacement? Surely not. No. So that should go to localhost. So that seems like the WebSocket is open, but somehow we're not happy. Either, and we were logging everything that came through, right? So we said localhost 3000. It said we did get connected, right? Open? Is that in here somewhere? Who said open? Oh, the WebSocket state inside here. Okay, so it seems like we got open. It seems like we just, for whatever reason, didn't get our message. All this nonsense, and then when we finally get the message here, we're supposed to debug.log the message. Is that right? Is it localhost 3000? It would appear to be. And we did get an open. So why? Are you still getting stuff? That's Discord, that's not this machine. So that stuff is going through because we're getting it on this WebSocket client. We are seemingly not getting it in my incredibly robust, fully reliable, what did the guy say? Flawless? My flawless WebSocket client. And I know why. I know why, because I didn't join the channel. Yes, we had the same idea simultaneously. I think you're one step ahead of me. I just realized that is the thing that we need to, as soon as we connect, which I just really did not write this super well. Like, this just is not very robust yet. We need to be able to send. I have a send, but I don't really have the idea of a connection being successful. Well, but I call a wait here. So by the time I get here, if I'm open, I should be able to send, right? So I should be able to, this is gonna slightly suck, I think. Let's see. Because we can do a JSON utility dot well, no, we don't need to do this. We can just send a string, right? Like, is this gonna work? Or something like it? What is the shortcut to, I don't know, like cycle between windows within an app? Like, you know, when you do command tilde on a Mac, can you do that on Windows? Okay, so now, that would mean probably that, okay, something went wrong here. It didn't like my JSON. Why doesn't it like my JSON? Is that not valid? Is it because that's not a string or something? I just need quotes. What's the secret? Okay. My fault. Oh, did the server totally crash and now I can't connect to it? Did it never come back? Okay. Come back, please. So it looks like I have a WebSocket server connection. Look at that! Incredible. This is really not what I should have worked on tonight, but we did it. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think I want to do more testing, and then be ready to push. Where am I? Okay. I don't think I want to deploy tonight. I think I want to play with it a little bit more before deploying because there's no real rush. What I would like to do is check the to-do. So WebSocket support, we wanted to mess with a mobile version, which is just going to be fundamentally not as good, I think, because the only way I think I can make a mobile version is it's a separate panel that appears below the video that's just going to be an XY pad. So it will not be as good as clicking on the video. You'll be able to click on the XY pad in a normalized space that will correspond to clicks on the video, but it's just not going to be as good. Channel ID in the config That's a quality of life thing. Drop shot on the cursor has already shown up in places where there's reddish backgrounds. And then the usernames with the clicks, that's actually an interesting one because well, I'm kind of confused actually. It's an interesting one because when I went to do the settings for the extension, that was already there. But it's not here right now. So I'm kind of confused by that. Like, how do I be sure that I'm showing the beta version here? You have it? It's enabled? How come I don't see it? Doesn't it show up in here? I thought it had to show up in here and you had to opt into it. Or do I just not have to do that? It comes on the broadcaster or something? What? I didn't know that I turned that on. That's been on the whole time? Or is it only because, I mean, is that just on today? Like, is that a new thing as of today? When I did the beta version? Because you are still on the beta tester list. It was here as long as you knew. I did not mean, so I will say that somehow in the extension review process, it seems like some things are not exactly what they should be. And so maybe weird stuff got flipped on / off. But that means, so that's always been there. So that means we could have done real IDs the whole time. What? So if I went to, I don't know if I launched this, did I? If I went here and I clicked on the video, I see me. Binary C, would you mind clicking on the video? Okay, so that starts with a U. I thought U would be your actual Twitch ID. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Let's see. I can't remember what the thing is. Okay, after a successful identity link opens a prompt for users to share their identity. After a successful identity link, the Twitch extension unauthorized callback is invoked with the user's ID. So I can ask for an ID share. Oh, it has no effect if it's on. Okay, that's why I don't see it. Maybe. Okay, but I'm still a little confused. So I'm always looking at the opaque user ID. But if they begin with a U, they are stable references to a Twitch account across sessions and channels. You can use them to provide persistent services. But that's not the same. The user's Twitch user ID. This is provided only for users who allow your extension to identify them. There are no guarantees this will be available, as users can revoke. Okay, so that's interesting. So the thing that I'm looking at always gives a weird, unique identifier, but this seems like it's only there conditionally. So that sounds like, well, testing that is not super easy, unfortunately, because I can't. So that whole thing of opaque user ID, that's how we manage our payloads or cooldowns. That's fine. So in here, we pass ID as the opaque user ID. So instead, maybe we would say conditionally, like if there is user ID, use that. Otherwise, so something like this. Something like that. I closed the rig. Oh no. We're at 2 hours. That means a couple things. It means that Backblaze is going to mess with me. Looks like it already did because I see a slight dip there. Pause back up. Pause. No. Okay. Post with rig. Go here. Click this. And then what? I want to see the payload. So in here, in our broadcast, so that's my user ID, but my user ID is always that, right? Like, and that's still what we want to use for cooldowns for sure. Oh, I did this wrong. This should be ID. Okay, and then that is just straight up my ID. Well, I didn't realize I had that on. I thought I turned that off before publishing. Curious. Well, that's kind of embarrassing if that's been there this whole time. Because that was on our to-do as a different thing, as okay, these are just visual things. This is a bigger problem. This may not actually be 1.1 or 0.1.0. These visual dudes seem easy, so maybe tomorrow we will bang these out. Man, testing though. I'm a little afraid to do anything weird. Well, because judging starts. Sending that to Redis. Sorry, sending what to Redis? Oh, but it's a different Redis server. Is that what you're asking? I mean, this is a local Redis server. The other ID, yes, but I'm only using this just for cooldowns. That's where I'm using the opaque ID, because there will always be an opaque ID, and that's just so. I stick it in the Redis server, and for only, it's like only on the Redis server for 250 milliseconds, or whatever I have it set to on the server. So it's not like persistently stored. It's just it only exists there for. That's what this is the expiration. It's just a way I can know who you are from click to click, but not long term. If that makes sense. So yeah, so should have stuck the entire payload with each click. What do you mean by that? In Redis? Well, I mean, I technically do, but it also expires, because that's the then you would have had the user stuck the whole this. I see what you mean. This whole payload, pass that whole payload through. I guess I could. What else is in that? Maybe that's not a bad idea to just pass through the payload. Is there a reason I shouldn't do that? Actually, is unlinked I could use as a condition The token is set for a user that previously shared their identity, otherwise false. So if is unlinked is true, then I should have... I mean, it would be kind of nice to have the role. Although this isn't super useful. Yes, you're right. Had I done the whole payload, I guess it just didn't occur to me because I didn't mean to, in the first version, even support that. If they extend it, well, this is all on the back end, so I wouldn't have to resubmit the extension. I would just have to like redeploy the server. Trying to decide if there's anything in here that would be unwise to pass to the client. I don't know. I hesitate to just throw everything in there because some of the stuff isn't necessary and it's just bloat. And then also like maybe they would add something later that would be something that I would not. I mean, it would be future-proofed in that it would be there, but what if it was like something sensitive that I actually didn't want to pass to the client? So I wish the roles were more. Wish the roles were more something. So is it more robust to use this as the condition instead of just checking if that other key exists? I think it's kind of fine. Okay, so there's that. These we can maybe bang out tomorrow. These things definitely more annoying. Or just like whatever, little polishy things I don't really care about. Why am I on fire down here? OmniSharp is aflame. Okay, I think I'm good for today. I think that went pretty well. That went fairly smoothly, other than some hiccups. Binary C, thank you for the help here and there. Appreciate that. Like slightly. Do I want to just? What does the diff look like? There's the ID stuff. Here's our new WebSocket stuff. Some of that should have a little more tidying, really. Oh yeah, we have some needless console logs. We don't need this. And then all the WebSocket stuff. I am gonna, I don't know. I don't think I want to deploy tonight. I think I want to poke at it some more tomorrow, but we can commit all this. Hello? Echo? Yes? No? Thank you. Okay. We did it. That went, again, I feel like that went reasonably well. The stuff that's just flaky is the client-side stuff. Like, it's flaky in the way that WebSocket clients are always flaky until you put in all the logic to make them not so. But that's okay because I think it's going to be sort of a specialty thing to use the raw WebSockets. And people will just be responsible for writing their own like reconnect code and stuff like that, which is seems not unreasonable. So we'll take a look at that again tomorrow, poke at it a little more, maybe bang out those other few features. I feel like I do not want to submit a new version until judging is over. Let's see. What's the schedule for that? Are there any new hackathons? What's the new one? A notification. Someone liked my post. Thanks. Where is the thing? This thing. Forgot the dates. Where are the full rules? Full rules. Okay, the judging period starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. So does the voting period, actually. I gotta get some people to vote for me. That means they have to make dev post accounts, I think. I don't know if that's very realistic. Okay, so then after the 11th, I can do whatever. Although, actually, there is a thing that's like this window of opportunity to do updates. I just don't want to break it during this realm, like during this time. No. Are the other submissions listed? Yes, they were posted here. Throw this into chat. And there is one that weirdly is architecturally extremely similar to mine, but kind of with a different end goal. It's by what seems to have been an existing company that already made stream mini games, and then they just added click support to their games. But reading their description, it sounds like they built it almost in the exact same way that I did, which is fine. There's room in the world for everything. Draklin wants to murder them on my behalf, which I appreciate. I forgot which one it was called. Playground? No. I can't remember. It seems like there are a fair number, like there's some redundancy, I felt like multiple closed caption. I really can't remember what that other one was called. Stream Break, this one. So they previously had, from what I could tell, chat controlled games, and then they added click support to them, it seems. So they got a handful of games, but it's just their games. I don't think they're treating it like a platform, but really they built it in a very similar way, which is funny. So I don't know. One thing that it just makes me sort of think like if I was a set of judges, I would only pick one or the other personally, because I feel like they're kind of similar. So I don't know. I don't know what will happen with it. Platform focused. Kind of. Maybe that Playground one was designed to be very open, I believe. I think this one kind of lets you build your own, I guess not super intense, but it kind of lets you sort of build out your own moments. But they're pretty limited in what was going on in there. So I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily saw any that seemed like they were like the foundation for new features, but I didn't dive super deep. Man, there's a fair number of closed caption ones. I have to imagine that only one of those will win. This is a weird one because I thought this already existed. Maybe I've just seen it as an OBS layer, but I thought this was already a thing. I don't know. Man, that was a team. Look at that. Look at all these people. I think there was more than one that was kind of sentiment analysis oriented. Dynamic overlays. I don't think I looked at this one. That's kind of cool to build the overlays as an extension. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, that would be cool to do user eye tracking. I'd be into that. I don't know. I mean, who knows? AWS is so many, is everything. Everything that happens on the internet is AWS. So I also kind of wonder if, like, I think if I were the judges also, I would look for really weird uses of AWS, and mine are very, very normal. So I don't know. Because there's, you know, AWS has all that, has like Lex and Poly and all those like AI and language things, and it seems like you could do something cool with those, but I didn't. Okay, I think I'm really finished. I'm finished. Have a lovely evening. Binary C, again, thank you very much. Jacqueline, thanks for stopping by. Anybody else who lurked, thank you so much, and I will talk to you next time. See ya.